Hey there, everyone. It is Anna Runyon. I am the founder and CEO of ClassyCareerGirl.com, where we are on a mission to help you find career fulfillment. And I'm so excited to be here. I haven't done a live in a little while here on my page because it's been summer. We've had the kids home and it's been a little crazy and just trying to enjoy the kids. And so I'm excited to dive back in here because it is September. And it is time to find focus and it's time to get back to those goals and it's time to make those career dreams happen before the end of the year, right? I know September, fall comes, and it's always this time where I get super excited to refocus on my priorities, refocus on some routines and get organized and find that focus to reach some of those goals that I set at the beginning of the year for this year and then to get ready for next year, 2021. So we're starting the planning season. If you don't know, here at Classy Career Girl, I'm a big planner. And I have a physical planner that we have here at Classy Career Girl. We have a free planner at Classy Career Girl. We always do some sort of free planning event here in the fall of every year. And so that's coming up where my team and I are just finalizing dates here. And so that will be coming. We're going to help you put your plans together. So today I wanted to pop in here. I wanted to do a quick little training on if you aren't reaching your goals, it's because of these 4 things. We're going to cover what those 4 things are. So this is just a really good restart. It's kind of like a check-in. We all know that 2020 has been completely unexpected and completely crazy with COVID and things changing that we all could never have imagined that our lives would be like this right now. And so first of all, take a deep breath, right? Because it's kind of time for a fresh start. It's here. We're September. We're in fall. We're in planning season. And so we're here. Our team is here to support you, to guide you, to help you make those goals happen. I asked you earlier today, by the way, if you're listening, please say hello in the comments. Please let me know where you're from so I can say hello to you. I asked you guys a little bit earlier in the Classy Career Girl Network, what is keeping you from reaching your goals? And thank you to those of you guys who popped in and who responded. So Mariana, I hope I pronounced your name right. She said lack of focus and clear objectives. And I think, Mariana, everyone can relate to this comment, right? Like everyone can relate right now to not having focus. And that's what this is all about. That's what this time is all about. That's what we're going to support you and helping you do through this fall season so we can help you find that focus. And then she said clear objectives. Sometimes it's really hard and overwhelming to know what even you should be doing, to even know what your goal is. Like maybe your goal from the beginning of the year looks completely different because COVID changed everything. And so, maybe there's some changes and some pivots that you're about to make. Maybe you have kids home doing homeschool like I do today. They're downstairs. Maybe things are just a little bit different and you have to kind of pivot and give yourself a new focus, give yourself new objectives. So that's what this month is all about. I'll be sharing. I can't say exactly what it is yet, but something is coming and it's going to be fun. The first thing that you want to do though is you want to grab our free 90-day planner, because once October 1st hits, we're going to start our next 90-day plan. Our last quarter of 2020 starts on October 1st. And so we want to start that planner. You can go grab the free planner at www.classycareergirl.com/free plan. You can start that free plan, and that's going to help you kind of put your vision together, put your annual plan together, and we're going to support you in doing all of this. So don't worry at all if this is overwhelming, but that's your first step today, to go down that download that planner. Oh, good. Hi, Rosalie. Thank you. Rosalie is here from Metro Manila, Philippines. So good to see you, Rosalie. So we have more people joining us. So if you're just joining, please say hello. Please say where you're from. And please share as well. Like I asked earlier in the Classy Career Girl Network, I asked what's keeping you from reaching your goals. So if you want to share below this video and want to get some feedback from me, that's totally fine. Okay. So the other comment I got is that you're struggling with money. to make your career change happen. So that came from Maggie. So we're going to talk about that today. And then we're also going to talk about the elephant in the room, which is COVID, the pandemic. Like, is now even a good time to reach my goals? Is now even a good time to change my career or start a business? So one thing I want you to remember is that when we're changing our career, whether you're job searching or whether you're starting a business, when you're making any sort of career change, you want to remember that you solve problems. There's problems out there that people have that need you and need your help to solve. So say you're applying to a job, companies are hiring people who can help them solve problems, especially with this pandemic. There's more problems than ever. And so if you can position yourself as someone who can help them solve those problems and grow their company, well, companies are hiring. There are companies that are solving problems with this pandemic, and those companies are growing and those companies are hiring. So check those companies that you're applying to, see if they're problem solvers, see if they're growing right now, and see how you can support them in helping them solve problems. And that's how you're going to get hired. If you want to start a business, something I teach in our corporate rescue plan success path inside of our membership is that you want to create a business that solves a problem. That's one of the first things that we talk about. So if you're starting a business that solves a problem, especially now with COVID, we have more problems than ever. There's more problems to solve. So as long as you're positioning your business to solve problems right now or to adapt to solve a new problem, that's part of entrepreneurship, is you always got to adapt to solve new problems. So as long as you're focusing on solving a problem, now could be the very best time to start a business. Like, now could be so incredible because there's so many free ways to start a business. There's so many free ways to get started. There's so many ways to get started virtually right now. It's so much easier now than it was 10 years ago when I started. Like, there's so many more options available for you. And so that's my big thing, is like, I don't want you to waste time not taking action, worried, oh, now is not a good time, because you know what? There's never going to be a perfect time. 10 years ago when I got started, the economy was not doing great. Like, it was kind of a tough time. People at my company were getting fired. I was going through a lot of personal struggles myself. It was not a good time. We were going through financial struggles. Like, it was not a good time to start a business, but I started taking those baby steps, and that led 10 years later to this, right? So taking this time to get ahead by researching the career you want or the business you want to start, by learning, by taking action, by putting your goals together and putting those plans together, this could be an incredible opportunity for you. So today I wanted to go deep into what's happening. If you aren't reaching your goals, it's because of these 4 things. So there's 4 specific things that usually are keeping you from reaching your goal. And I'm also going to be adding in a 5th one too. So that there's a bonus one coming. So let's talk about the first one, which is what the biggest objection to starting any sort of career change, launching your dream career, is always time. I totally understand. I have very limited time as well. I mentioned in the beginning of this, I haven't been going live all summer because I've had limited time this summer with the kids and having fun in the sun. And so I'm right there with you, juggling it all. And so time is hard. And so that's one of the biggest excuses that keeps people from going after their goals that they set in the beginning of the year. Anyone struggling with time? If time is your issue, just say time in the comments below so I know. So this is one of a really big common belief that people have. And if you think this, I want to challenge you, because when it comes to creating your plan, it's not about doing more. You don't need more time. You just need to be focused on the right things, your priorities, the focus, the objectives that we talked about in the beginning. As long as you know what your priorities are and you focus doing those priorities in that 15 minutes a day. If you have 15 minutes a day or a small lunch break, or you can wake up 15 minutes before the kids wake up, or you have a little bit of time at night where you can, work on your goals, you don't need a lot of time as long as you're not wasting that time. Now, if you're scrolling on Instagram, or if you're watching a show at night, you might be wasting that time. But if we can focus on just like 15 minutes a day and help you figure out what you should be focused on, what those priorities are. So if you're wanting to start a business, it's focusing on those revenue producing activities, those activities that are actually going to grow your business. And if you want to change your career, it's focusing on those networking and referral activities, those activities where you're going to actually meet those people that are going to get you inside the door. So if we can help you, and this is what we do inside of our membership, is we help you figure out what those activities are, what those priorities are every single week. So you're not wasting time doing things that aren't going to get you closer to your goal, because we don't have time for that. We don't have time to waste time. We have to be laser focused on one of those activities that are going to help us reach our goal. So you don't need more time. You don't need more time. Hopefully that's like, take a deep breath, guys. We don't need more time. Whatever time you have right now, we can make it happen as long as you are focusing on your priorities and you have a planning system like we teach here with our free planner. As long as you're using the free planner and our planning system, then we help you prioritize on what is the most important thing to do. So that's the first one. The second thing, if you're not reaching your goals, it might be because you believe you weren't born productive, believing that you weren't born productive, or you need to become more disciplined because you just weren't born very disciplined. So I want to challenge you on this too, because this is a skill that I had to develop too. Like, I have not, just because I have a planning system, that kind of means that I don't have it all together, and I had to kind of like figure it out my own way. And I'm not super disciplined, I'm not super productive, but I've had to learn. It's a skill that I have had to learn how to develop. Just like you can learn how to develop it too. Just like I wasn't born a great planner, and it's something that I have had to work hard on to make my goals happen. So instead of thinking, oh, I just wasn't born productive, think, this is a skill that I can develop, that I can learn, that I can get better at as I do it. Now that I've done our planning system, now I've used it. Gosh, now it's been almost 3 years that I've used my planning system. Now it's easier, right? It's a skill that I've developed, but in the beginning, it's not super easy. So it's a skill that you can develop. You can learn this stuff, and we're here to support you this month in helping you and teaching you how to make that happen. So the third thing that could be keeping you back from reaching your goals is kind of similar. It's thinking that you are not disciplined enough. So we kind of talked about how you might think you weren't born productive. So now let's talk about discipline and motivation, right? I've heard this over and over again. So here's the thing about discipline. It doesn't require discipline when you're doing work you love. And this is why it's like my life's work to help you find career fulfillment, because it's going to become natural. It's going to become easy to go after your goals. It's going to become easy to plan, easy to know what you should be focused on, easier to know what your priorities should be when you're in work you love, when you're doing what you love, when you're doing something that you're passionate about, because you're going to be more successful at it as well. So when you're working on goals that you are excited and you're motivated about, that's going to help you in the long run. So if you haven't had discipline in the past, most likely it's because you were working on goals that were not motivating you. So for example, for me, when I graduated college, I got into finance because I was good at it. It was a skill I had. It just wasn't a favorite skill. I didn't really enjoy it that much. So for me, those goals didn't excite me, like becoming the top financial manager in my company and, doing all these pivot table projects. It didn't motivate me. It was supposed to, because I was in finance, And so I kind of thought, well, I guess I'm just not disciplined enough. But really, it just wasn't the right goal for me. It wasn't work I was passionate about. So I wasn't pushing myself because I didn't want to do that goal. So instead, when you set the right goals and when you determine what that ideal career is for you or that ideal business is for you, discipline is not going to be an issue. You're going to be able to spend your time focusing on what you love, and discipline is going to become a lot easier to do. So you're going to find a way to reach your goals when it's something you're excited and passionate about. So I hope that's exciting to you. It should be. It should be. So number 4, if your goals haven't worked in the past, it may be because you're thinking this: I tried before my goals and they didn't work, so I'm just going to give up now. Anyone tried a goal before and it didn't work? It didn't work. So here's what I have to say. Like, you absolutely cannot give up no matter what. That's why our entire team is all in to support you during this whole planning season that we're about to head into this fall. You cannot give up no matter what. Like, if something didn't work before, you just have to try something different. You have to pivot. You have to change. It's okay. Where I started, the career I thought I was going to have, the business I thought I have, is very, very different. There's been a lot of twists and turns and pivots, and then life events happen, and pandemics happen that you never would have expected. And so we can't give up on our goals. I always say, like, your plans change, but your dreams don't. So your plans at the beginning, or your dream at the beginning of the year, like, I want you to go back. If you wrote your goal down for 2020, like, go back and look at it, because I don't know about you, but I am such a different person than January 1st, 2020, because of what we've had to go through this year. I have different goals. I have different priorities. It's like night and day who I am and what's important to me from what's happened this year. So I would love for you, I would have bet the same thing has happened for you. I bet we've all grown up like a million years just from 2020. I'd love to see you go back to January 1st. Go grab what you wrote down. Go grab what your goals and what your dreams were. Don't let them die. If you still have that dream, don't let them die. It doesn't, just because 2020 craziness happened does not mean we need to give up on them. It just might mean that you might need to change them slightly, or you might need to change the plan. So we're getting ready for Q4 of 2020, quarter 4, which is the last 90 days of 2020. So this is a great time to reassess your plan and to put a new one into place. And trust me, I have failed a lot too. If you have failed, the whole reason I am here right now is because of my past failures. I've had to learn through them personally and professionally. And so think of some ways that you can change things up, maybe do things a little bit different than you have been doing if things aren't working. You already are, because you're here, you're listening to this, you're learning, and you're going to learn how to do things differently when you come into this Classy Career Girl world. We're gonna help you, we're gonna support you. And so if something didn't happen, if you didn't get your goals to work before, there's probably just some slight tweaks that you need to make in order to reach that success. And that's totally normal. Life is full of these little pivots, these little uncomfortable little things that you weren't expecting. And so we just can't, like I said, you just can't give up no matter what. Now, I do want to talk about one last one, which is one that Maggie is in our Classy Career Girl Network, and she said the thing that's holding her back is money. So let's talk about money a little bit, right? Because you're probably thinking that you need a lot of money to start a business or to change your career. So I want to prove that wrong, and I'm very passionate about proving that wrong, because there are so many free options available to you these days. It's so easy to get started. If you're starting a business, there are free ways to grow your audience, free ways to start a website, free ways to start an email list, free ways to find your ideal clients online. It's way easier now than ever before. And that is why now really can be your time. Money should not stop you from selling a beta version of your product or your service and get that cash flowing in, because your product does not need to be perfect to start. You just have to start somewhere, and you're going to learn so much from continuing to sell, to make an offer, to talk with your ideal clients. Even like my first client was one of my best friends, and it was completely free. We just met for dinner once a week, and I helped her with her career and her resume, and I created my whole system. And I've told her this. She was the worst client. She didn't do anything that I said because we were friends, and we just chit-chatted the whole time. But I got my systems together. I got organized, and I started to build up that confidence, and I started to realize I am a career coach. I can do this. And that was my only client that was free. I'll never do that again. That was my only client because it got me started. And then my next client, I had this whole system together. I had confidence. Like I charged for that next one, and it was like a domino. Like it just started because I got out there. I started taking action. I started to get a client, even though it was my best friend and it was free. Like I started somewhere, and then one step led to another. And that was completely free for me to start to get my systems together. And so also then, if you want to change your jobs, you definitely don't need money to make your dream job happen either. There are people out there right now who need your help in their company. They're waiting for you, and it doesn't take money to find them. We can find them. We can find them online. So, and you can be doing these informational interviews virtually too. With the whole pandemic, everything is moving virtual. If you haven't noticed, like our kids are virtual school, everything is virtual. People are working from home. And so interviews are virtual. There's just way more opportunity to either find virtual work or to do virtual informational interviews and to meet people, to get virtual referrals. There's so many opportunities for you guys right now. So just to repeat what I've talked about today, there are reasons why you're not reaching your goals. So we covered those today. It could be that you don't have enough time, and instead we're going to focus on what our priorities are. You don't need a lot of time. We just need to focus on what our right priorities are. You might believe that you were not born productive. Well, we have to remember that this is a skill that we can develop. No one is born productive. This is a skill that I had to develop, and you can develop it too. Maybe you're not reaching your goals because you think you're just not disciplined enough. And that's your wake-up call to realize that your goal might not be something you're excited and motivated for. And you need to go back to the drawing board and rethink what your goal should be, what your vision over the next 5 to 10 years should be, because that should get you excited. Like I am so excited about my 5 to 10 year vision. You have no idea. Like I am so excited about it. And the work that I do today, the craziness of my life today, of everything that's going on, I know that each of those little baby steps is going to help me reach that vision that gets me so excited. And if you're not reaching your goal, maybe you think, oh, I tried before and it didn't work, so I'll just give up. And we've talked about this. You're not giving up no matter what. If something doesn't work, you got to change. You got to try something different. We've all failed. Failure is a part of this process. It's a part of growth. It's a part of moving forward and personal development and reaching our goals. And so you can't give up. You might just need to pivot. You might need to do things a little bit different. And we're here to support you in making that happen. And then if you think you need money, you do not need a lot. There are free options here. There are free options to start your business, and there are free options to find a new job. You do not need a lot of money to get started. I know that Maggie in the Facebook group, she was saying she's starting a digital business offering, not just building websites and graphic design, but also digital marketing. And her target audience is small businesses and nonprofits who do not have the web presence of those bigger organizations they have to compete with. And I was like, awesome. That's great. Like you can get started. You can get moving. You can go move forward. You don't need a lot of money here. You need a testimonial. You need a social proof. You need a practice client. You need to get out there. You need to start practicing. And so remembering also, because she went on and said that she has a lot of expenses adding up, like software subscriptions, a new computer, all that stuff. So here's the biggest thing too. Like, you also don't need to be spending a lot as well. Like, how can you get a beta product version up as quickly as possible? And how can you start cash flowing this? So your money is coming in. Yes, there's expenses associated with starting a business, but we want that money coming in as soon as possible so we can start cash flowing these expenses, and then we can push the bigger expenses to a later time as well. And so you don't need all the fancy things. You don't need to have the best software subscriptions for, all the things. Just start small. Start small, start budgeting in your personal life as well. That was huge for me. And my husband, when I started a business, is like really getting on a strict personal budget. And I still do that today. Like every single month we do our budget. I just did it the other day. And that's something, well, the whole financial planning process as well is really, really important. And we can get into all that stuff in the future too. So I'm super excited because it's September and it's planning time. And so I'm excited to help you plan out the last 90 days of 2020. And I'm excited then to help you move in and plan 2021 too, because we are going to make it so fun and so amazing for you. I'm super excited for your vision. I'm super excited for your career change. You absolutely can do this. I believe in you, and our whole team is here to support you in making it happen. So make sure that you've done the first step, which is you've gone to download the free 90-day planner. And that's at www.classycareergirl.com/free plan. You want to grab that because that's going to help go through the vision, go through the looking back page, go through the vision journal, go through if you can get started with like the annual planning goals. And this is what we're going to go through. We're going to go through all this, and we're going to support you in helping you complete this so that by October 1st, you're ready to plan out the next 90 days. So we've got a lot of stuff coming. So stay tuned for some future announcements for our planning workshop for next year and all the fun planning events that we have going on. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys later, okay?